Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Links are in the description below. Please show some love of the author and me. On to the show. A full 30 or 31 high-pressure training times per month, Zian can basically use at will. A few days later, Zian was completely soaked in it. Do this 7 times a day. Wait until the 3rd day. All the times of high-pressure training have been used up. The final wealth value. It was also completely consumed. Now, Zian only has 20,000 yuan worth of wealth left on him. The wealth value of these 20,000 yuan cannot be used for anything. This is used in the end to save lives. The kind used to space jump to another ship, the Brilliance, and then jump back. #F#. Huawei has produced a batch of starships in the past few months and is ready to start selling them. The only disadvantage is that the price may be relatively low. Not sure if many people will buy it by then. However, Ren Qingying said that he might use his own name to promote it. He also announced to the public that this starship was designed and completed by him alone. When the time comes, there will definitely be his admirers purchasing it. Yes. Zian himself didn't know very clearly. However, throughout the Earth Federation, Zian's reputation is very, very, very big. Even until now, there will still be a large number of media using Zian to gain traffic. It's still accurate every time. And the Earth Federation's external propaganda will often use Zian as the main target of propaganda, some kind of shining monster, some kind of pride of the Earth Federation, etc. One more thing I have to say is, Zian himself didn't know when he was listed among the top 10 geniuses of the Earth Federation. Although it is at the bottom position, it has climbed up. In this regard, Zian would not refuse. What's there to say no to? To make money. Even if he lets Zian take the initiative to advertise, there will be no problem. 3 days, a total of 21 high-pressure exercises. Let Zian improve tremendously. For example, at this moment, when Zian carried a 10,000 kilogram barbell on his shoulders and persisted for 10 minutes under 10 times the gravity, even Kaitai couldn't help sighing. This talent. It's absolutely amazing. It's so special. And there are no surprises. 100 full score, passed directly. Since then, Zian's scores in 3 subjects all reached the terrifying 100 points, which only exist in legends and theories. Zian's treatment. On the last day of the first part of training, promoted to superstar treatment like never before. And what does this treatment mean? Represents. After Zian, you can perform high-pressure training as many times as you want. No more times are displayed. Represents. Everyone in the entire training camp, from the camp commander to the students, will serve Zian's success. What is this concept? A senior longitudinal starship captain, 2 void ship captains, dozens of immortal ship captains, more than 1,000 star destroyer captains, 100,000 super geniuses. Not to mention, there are also a lot of support staff. All, to serve Zian's growth. That was the moment Zian was promoted to superstar status. Kaitai immediately summoned all the teachers, instructors, and 2 deputy battalion commanders. He wants to gather the strength of so many people. At the same time, Zian customized the second phase of training. Let's put it that way. It is equivalent to a force that is more powerful than the cutting-edge combat power of the Soul Empire. It is racking its brains on how to help Zian become stronger as quickly as possible, no matter the cost. Can you imagine how terrifying the final training results will be? Of course, although the whole battalion serves Zian alone, but that doesn't mean that the remaining students can't get anything. To put it simply, they are Zian's younger brothers. Zian was eating meat in front. They were drinking soup in the back. The benefits they received were the same as those in the second part of training in previous years. The difference is that it revolves around Zian alone. It is even more conceivable that when the news that Zian was promoted to superstar status was officially announced by the training camp. What a huge sensation it caused. The training camp forum was quiet for more than 10 minutes. Then it finally exploded like a floodgate was opened. Nima, this is naughty. As expected of me, Brother Su, worthy of being a brilliant genius. I just want to ask who else. Being able to train in the same training camp as Brother Su will definitely be the most bragging thing in my life. That person at the beginning, didn't you still think that Brother Su could only get 4.5 stars at most? Is it impossible for anyone to get 5 stars or superstars? What do you say now? Damn. Who the hell would know that Su is a monster? Woo woo woo, brother and I have been confessing to you for half a year, just look at her. Surprisingly. On the forum, there were not as many people expressing surprise as when Zian was promoted to 5-star treatment. But this is normal. Because when Zian was promoted to 5-star treatment, he was already shocked to the point of numbness, as if Zian was treated like a superstar and was not a problem at all. Now, it just proved their suspicions. As they say, being in the same class as Zian is definitely the most worrying thing. At the same time, Qin Fuyue and the other girls also sent congratulations. Qin Fuyue, TSK, 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 what a brilliant genius. Hu Qiqi, as expected of our captain. Amazing. Miao Xiaomi, not bad, but we are not slow either. We all still have a high-pressure training that is useless, so let's use it now, and strive to achieve 4-star treatment today. By Xianyao, hehe, I should have no problem reaching 4 stars today. The captain is waiting for me. Taimei, ho ho ho, Zian, shout out to your sister. By the way, your sister hasn't come back from the battlefield yet? It's been half a year, right? Taimei, feeling wronged. She said that when she was about to come back, she was ambushed by a group of insectoids and wasted a lot of time. Taimei, then she knew that we would go to the battlefield in half a year, and she said she would wait for us there directly. Zian, that's okay. Remember, your sister must not be in a hurry to evolve to a battleship, okay? Wait for me to evolve her. Taimei, yeah. I've already told her, and she said she will definitely wait for you. We should also take advantage of this time to work hard to accumulate enough evolution points. Zian, okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Come on, I'll be waiting for you in the first hospital. After finishing the chat with the girls, Zian was undoubtedly quite satisfied with their performance in the past 6 months. They really worked hard not to fall too far behind themselves. I heard that they now only have 2 hours of sleep every day. The rest of the time is training, review, training, review. Fortunately, there are a large number of natural materials and earthly treasures to support them, and also thanks to the fact that they are all biological warriors. Otherwise, give ordinary people such intensity and sleep training. I'm afraid everyone is gone. With such efforts. Also 2 months ago, they were successfully promoted to 3-star status. Now, 2 months passed. On the last day of training for the first part of training camp, prepared to achieve 4-star treatment, come to the first hospital to meet Zian for the second part of training. Zian believes that they can definitely do it. As for Taimei's sister, it is the brilliant Wang Zhaohao fleet, and currently it still needs a pure human shield ship. There are 2 meat shield ships. Then Hu Qiqi, Qin Fuyue, Bai Xiaoyuan and the others no longer have to worry about their safety. This sister of hers is not her biological sister, but a sister from her Titan clan. Not even blood related. In addition, the other party is also a monster-level genius from the Titan clan. This is exactly what Zian needs. It was supposed to be here by now. But now something happened on the battlefield, and I heard that the brilliant fleet will go to the battlefield in half a year. So he went directly to the battlefield and waited. The other party's strength is currently a senior cruiser captain, on the same level as Hai Tang. After half a year, I believe that both she and Hai Tang will be able to be promoted to battleship captain. Just in time, Zian evolved the whole process. Built from the ground up. The brilliant fleet of that time. It will definitely be terrifying. This is also what Zian is looking forward to. Now. Just waiting for the girls to be promoted to 4-star treatment. After. Just waiting for the second part of training to begin. It will also be myself and the dazzling fleet, and the time to truly take off is near. Did you really become a disciple of Battalion Commander Kaitai? In the villa, Qin Fuyue's beautiful face was full of shock. This is a Yuan, Zian's villa. This is also the day after the first part of training. ATT. Live up to expectations. They were promoted to 4-star treatment one after another. Even those few geniuses only get 3-star treatment. The growth of the girls is tremendous. With a smile on his face, Zian nodded and said, yes. Just the other day. Girls, look at me, and I look at you. They knew what Battalion Commander Kaitai was capable of. That's a real vertical starship captain. And I heard that Battalion Commander Kaitai may break through to the realm beyond the vertical starship at any time. The realm after the starship. That's a level that ordinary people can't even imagine. At that level, it can almost be called true immortality. The captain of the immortal ship simply has an infinite lifespan. But the mortality rate is not low. But beings like captains of vertical starships, or even beings on top of vertical starships. For many, many years, even in the fiercest battlefield, not one person may die. Because it's hard to kill. Because there are countless ways to save your life. Having such a super strong person as your master. Zian, it can be said that in the true sense, no one dares to mess with Jiao Xinghai. At this time, Hu Qiqi on the other side suddenly exhaled and said, Zian. I heard someone on the training camp forum say that after this training, you will definitely be on the list of geniuses. At that time, you will truly be famous in the universe, and countless forces will definitely invite you. At the same time, there will be countless aliens and humans who want to kill you. So from now on, no matter where you are, you must be more careful. Zian was startled. 540 on the list of geniuses? He looked a little dazed. List of geniuses. It can be said that as long as there are intelligent creatures in this universe, no one does not know it. Including Zian. Tianjiao list, as the name suggests. Only the true genius can be on the list, and this genius list does not only record the peerless geniuses of the Universal Human Federation. It's for the whole universe. The most outstanding geniuses from the cosmic human race, the alien race, the insect race, and some neutral races, can all be on the list, yes. Ordinary geniuses, and even top geniuses, are not qualified to be on the list. Only the most extraordinary genius is qualified. In addition, this list also has age restrictions. Anyone over 1,000 years old cannot be listed. The generation of the Universal Human Federation, that is, the most talented people under 1,000 years old, are all in their early 100s. They, without exception, are all on the list. These people. It is truly the center of attention. It is the true heritage and treasure of the human race. Every person is extremely precious. Once upon a time, when I was young, Zian has opened the list of geniuses countless times and looked at the peerless geniuses on it and their inspiring achievements. He didn't know how envious he was. I have imagined countless times that it would be great if one day I could be on the list, Bab. But Zian also has self-awareness. However, unknowingly, just when Zian himself had almost forgotten the longing he had had when he was young, today, someone suddenly told him that he also expected to be on the list. The spirit suddenly became a little dazed. Yes, unparalleled genius. Are you considered a genius now? I should, forget it. That means that you can actually be on the list? As long as you reach the level of peerless genius, it is inevitable to be on the list. Because as long as it is a star, its light cannot be concealed. The same goes for genius. A genius of the peerless genius level. No matter how hard the Universal Human Federation tries to hide it, it is impossible to hide it. A peerless genius also needs to grow step by step. The flowers in the greenhouse, no matter how talented they are, cannot grow into towering trees. So, since it can't be hidden, the Universal Human Federation has never thought about hiding the light of the peerless genius. On the contrary, they will take the initiative to publicize it and actively help them build momentum, thus inspiring the self-confidence of the human race and inspiring more teenagers and young people to strive for their goals. Every additional peerless talent represents the addition of a super strong person in a certain field in the future. Nature is inspiring. Of course it makes people proud. This is also the reason why the list of geniuses attracts so much attention from the whole universe. Even now, all ethnic groups in the universe generally agree on one concept. If you want to know which ethnic group is the strongest, just look at which ethnic group has the most geniuses and the highest ranking on the genius list. It will even greatly boost the morale of the border soldiers. In short, there are many benefits. The Universal Federation of Humanity will even encourage the most talented geniuses to take the initiative to show their holiness and compete for a higher ranking. With these swirling in his mind, Zian smiled softly. Not surprisingly. List of geniuses. I should definitely be on the list. There should be no doubt about this. In the past 6 months, my growth has been really huge. It was so big that even Zian found it a bit incredible. If this doesn't make it to the list of geniuses. To be honest, it is really hard to imagine how far those truly unparalleled geniuses have gone. And since I should be on the list. So. It's on the list. If I don't use the name of the big devil to play around, it seems that I am sorry for being on the list like this. Yes. The genius list, in addition to the ordinary rankings. Top 3, there are additional rankings. The third place is named Devil. It means that he is the devil in the list of geniuses, and he is also the devil in the future, the devil that makes the rest of the ethnic group fearful. The second place is called Demon King. Meaning, same as above. -3. It's the Great Demon King. Often, the big devil is the one who attracts the most attention and is also the most dangerous. In the human race of the universe, many great demon kings were killed by the inhumans and insects at great cost. Because this title already explains everything. The peerless geniuses on the genius list, when they grow up, are enough to cause headaches for any force. So can you imagine what the genius who is number 1 on the prodigy list and the number 1 genius in the universe in Gaia's era will be like when he grows up? So. Not to mention the cosmic human race. There are unparalleled geniuses from the inhuman and insect races who have won the title of the Great Demon King. The human race in the universe will also use the most powerful force at its disposal and use all means to kill them. No matter how high the price is, we will definitely kill him. After growing up, the deterrence is simply too great. But Zian is not afraid of this. Now that it's on the list, let's win the big devil. Just under the noses of the inhumans and insects, even after they paid a huge price, they still couldn't kill me. That's called Nyobi. Then, under their noses, he grew up step by step and became a real big devil step by step. What could be more fulfilling and satisfying than this? A man's life. In other words, isn't this the ultimate pinnacle that the biological captain has been pursuing all his life? At least that's the case with Zian. Of course. These are all Zian's own fantasies. Whether you can be on the list or not is a matter later. Anyway, I am currently training in the training camp, and I will definitely not be on the list now. Now. Just think about how to deal with the second part of the training. Part 2 of training. It has the highest mortality rate. Although Zian is confident in his own strength, he does have the means to absolutely save his life. But the girls didn't. Dr. This has been happening all day and night. Master Kaitai, their customized training plan has not been released yet. It's not hard to imagine. The risk must be much higher than in previous years. Otherwise, it will not be able to help you take off. Even, it will be very, very, very dangerous. Just because the more dangerous it is, the more you improve, the greater it becomes. So, Zian did not dare to take it lightly. But the idea just came to Zian. 23. The optical watches of Zian and the other girls all buzzed. After being stunned for a moment, everyone immediately understood. He quickly lifted up his optical watch to check it. As expected, the news was officially released by the training camp. The content is unexpected. Indeed, that is the training content of the second part. Originally, the code name for the second part of the training was Death Hell. However, now, the code names for the second part of the training have been changed. Changed from Death Hell to Despair Abyss. Although I don't know which of the two names is scarier. But you know it without even thinking about it. Being able to change my name temporarily must be because of Zian. Since it is because of Zian, then the difficulty of Abyss of Despair must be greater and more terrifying. At least for Zian personally. I don't know how difficult it is for other students. But at least Zian's difficulty. It must be a level of despair. The specific training content is not known. Students set out in teams. Destination: battlefield. Yes. Battlefield. The second part of the training was taken directly to the battlefield. Moreover, we went to the B-level battlefield known as the meat grinder of death. There are also many different levels in the battlefield. The higher the level, the more terrifying and powerful there are. From low to high, they are D-level battlefield, C-level battlefield, B-level battlefield, A-level battlefield, S-level battlefield, $S-level battlefield, and S$-level battlefield. The D-level battlefield is known as the safest battlefield. The battlefield area is small and the combat intensity is low. There are even many reconnaissance ships and frigates that can easily come back alive. It is also the place where captains of mechanical starships, reconnaissance ships, and frigates go most often. Among them, cruisers are all top-notch powerhouses. There are millions of D-level battlefields throughout the universe. After that comes the C-level battlefield. The C-level battlefield is known as the battlefield with the most people. In the C-level battlefield, basically assault ships and destroyers are just cannon fodder. Only cruiser captains can fight and are not cannon fodder. The reason why Zian has always been determined to wait until he breaks through to the cruiser captain before entering the battlefield. It is precisely because Haiteng and Shenzhou Academy, or the battlefield closest to the Earth Federation and the battlefield most visited by humans in the Earth Federation, is a sea-level battlefield. There are only a few 100,000 sea-level battlefields in the entire universe. Finally, there is the B-level battlefield called Meat Grinder of Death. The B-level battlefield is a real meat grinder of death. Perhaps, the number of strong men and the top strong men are far less than those in A-level and above battlefields. The number of strong men and the intensity of the war are far beyond what D-level and C-level can match. However, when it comes to the death rate, the craziness of fighting, and the number of battles that occur every day, the B-level battlefield must be the most terrifying. The mortality rate is really too high, too high, too high, so much so that even among all ethnic groups in the universe, there is a saying spread like this. Whether you are a strong person or not, and whether you hope to become a strong person in the future, is very simple. Go to the B-level battlefield and come back alive. The B-level battlefield is also known as the Holy Land of Brave Men and the development place of super strong men. Anyone who can come back alive from a B-level battlefield. There is absolutely no weak person. Because, the weak ones have already died on the battlefield, there are more than 10,000 B-level battlefields in the entire universe. As for the A-level battlefield, it is called the battlefield of the strong. That's the literal meaning. There is a battlefield for the strong. The highest limit for ordinary people is a B-level battlefield. There are more than 1,000 in the universe. S-level battlefield, known as Ticket to the Peak. That means, as long as you can step into this battlefield and survive, then you have the ticket to the pinnacle of power. The whole universe can be repaid every day. SS-level battlefield, Twilight of the Gods. This is also the battlefield with the highest combat effectiveness on the daily battlefield. For a super strong man of that level to die, it would be an injury to his race. There are only 66 SS-level battlefields in the entire universe. As for the final SSS-level battlefield, there are only 10 in the entire universe. Moreover, it is the only battlefield among all levels of battlefields that does not easily start a war. It is also the only battlefield that may not start once in hundreds of millions or billions of years. Known as the Cry of the Race. There is another nickname: Final Despair. The meaning of this battlefield. This is the final battle of the race. The battlefield at this level was opened only 300 billion years ago. That time, each of the three peak hegemonic groups in the universe has lost 2/3 of its peak combat effectiveness. #BBT. The number of deaths of top experts has even caused instability in the universe. It directly led to space collapse in multiple starry sky areas and countless deaths. After the fight, all three parties knew that if the fight continued like this, the final result of their three major ethnic groups would be destruction. As a result, the top experts of the three major ethnic groups signed the SSS-level battlefield Armistice Agreement. All grudge battles take place on battlefields of SS level and below. In this way, we have spent 300 billion years safely. Now, 300 billion years have passed, and the vitality of the three peak overlord groups has not only recovered, but has even become stronger. But there is absolutely no ethnic group that dares to speak out or start a war on the SSS-level battlefield. The humans don't dare, the inhumans don't dare, and the insects don't dare either. Although many years have passed. But the video of that war can now be seen on the internet. Its cruelty. It made everyone shudder. Even now the three major ethnic groups have a life and death hatred, but they can only fight a dozen times on SS-level battlefields. According to common sense, with the strength of Zian and the others, the best battlefield should be the sea-level battlefield. Because only on the sea-level battlefield, there is room for them to perform. And this does not mean that once you reach the cruiser level, it will no longer be dangerous in the sea-level battlefield. Actually, even if you are the captain of a star destroyer, even if you go to a D-level battlefield, it is still dangerous. If you, a star destroyer captain, go to the lowest D-class battlefield, the enemy will also have corresponding strong men to attack you. On the sea-level battlefield, the cruiser captain is already considered capable. But the level of danger is not low. After all, Gu Qingzhan and the others were also the captain of a star destroyer. Didn't he also get blown up by a star destroyer on the battlefield and then be rebound and evolved many years later? Not to mention, the B-level battlefield known as the meat grinder of death. The cruiser captain, although he is not cannon fodder here. But that's about it. Because this is the main battlefield for void ships, immortal ships, and star destroyers. Wars of this level often break out. Even if it is a vertical starship, it is of the same level as Kaitai. Death is also a common thing. Otherwise, how could it be called a meat grinder of death? Cruisers, battleships, deep space ships. The mortality rate is even ridiculously high. As for what's underneath the cruiser, the mortality rate is also not small. No other reason. Asking for flowers. It's not that there aren't starships like destroyers and assault ships, there are some. Even in an SS-level battlefield, not to mention destroyers and assault ships, frigates and reconnaissance ships also have everything they need. They have their own fighting area. The main battle on the battlefield is still these massive low-level starships. It's just that the risk level is ridiculously high. But generally speaking, those lower-level starships are all Federal Army and official personnel. Free people like Zian and others. Seriously. Very few, there will be people who take the initiative to go. This is not. After the training camp announces the training address for the second part, the entire training camp forum suddenly burst into wailing. To know. In previous years, most of the time, the training camp took the students to hang the traitors of the human race. If there are more geniuses at the genius level in a certain session, the group will meet on the battlefield. But the highest level is only a C-level battlefield. B-level battlefield. Something that is simply impossible. But now, 0. DRA. But this time, because of the existence of Zian, the training area is directly related to the battlefield, not to mention, it's a B-level battlefield. Perhaps the only thing that gives them some peace of mind is their teachers and instructors will follow. However, he will not take action. Interception will only occur when there is a possibility of encountering an enemy attack that exceeds that of a deep space ship or above. As for the battleship enemy? Don't think about it, if I can't beat you, you will die. They are all geniuses. And it's still a team operation. Moreover, a large number of people are now cruiser captains. If all this is not enough to defeat a battleship, who is to blame for dying? Although the students were wailing. But as for the training camp, it will definitely be unreasonable. And the specific training content has not been disclosed yet. The entire operation is kept confidential. Maybe you won't know until you execute the training. Although I don't know the content of the training, one thing is 100% certain. All the training methods of the other students revolve around Zian. This point. No doubt about it. Superstar treatment is definitely not a joke to you. Wait until you finish reading. The girls looked at Zian with shining eyes. Different from other students. Other students were frightened and panicked when they learned that the training location was a Class B battlefield. But the girls don't. They are not afraid. Over the years, I have been with Zian all the way. A belief has been firmly established. As long as Zian is here, they are not afraid. No matter where it is. No matter who you fight. Even if Zian takes them to die. But as long as Zian is here. As long as they are here. There will be no fear. Death is not what they fear at all. Farewell, dissolution. That's what scares them the most. It was also them in the mood for love. The main reason for giving up life and practicing cultivation. He is. It is the man of the sun. This voyage lasted 1 month. Those who are unable to perform space jumps on their own will be guided by instructors, and others. Those who can perform space jumps directly. The whole process uses wormhole stargates for jumping. All jumping costs are free throughout Jiuxia Xinghai. After all, the training camp is filled with the top talents from Jiuxia Xinghai. Can provide convenience, naturally give the greatest aspect. Their destination this time. It is a border battlefield numbered B283. This is the B-level battlefield closest to the training camp and the fastest to reach it. Zian and the girls. Naturally, it needs to be carried by people to jump through space. Original. Kai Tai is going to fly with Zian and the other girls. Because he knew the relationship between Zian and Qin Fuyue. However, it was rejected by Zian. Then he found another female deputy battalion commander in the training camp. He is also a voyage ship captain, so he asked her to help guide him. The reason is simple. It was a rare time to be together with other girls. Zian didn't want to have a man next to him. Even if the man couldn't pry, he wouldn't pry into their 380 privacy. But it always felt like something was wrong. Of course, the main reason is that Zian is selfish. He admitted that he was selfish. I just don't want my woman to be sailing in another man's starship, so what? Regarding this, Master, what else can you do besides rolling your eyes and saying you are speechless? The only option is to change people. Even, in order to let myself, my precious disciple, do something better. He directly replaced all the people led by the female deputy battalion commander with girls. For the apprentice Zian. As a master, he is not unkind. That afternoon, everyone packed up their things and set off. The starship began its long-distance voyage. However, once the training camp started, there was nothing to say in the middle. Because there can't be any interstellar pirates, human traders, etc., the king attacks them. Joke. With so many top powerhouses in the fleet, who would be so stupid as to dare to attack them? As far as possible, hide as far as possible. At the same time, in the cargo hold of the female deputy battalion commander's starship, the girls are practicing. Zian was also on his brilliant account, talking to Ren Qingying. In the communication video, Ren Qingying's capable but beautiful face said with excitement and anticipation, "This batch of Morning Star and Big Dipper have been fully produced. Currently, we are ready to officially start sales. If possible, can you take some promotional photos or something? In this way, we can maximize publicity and at least make these two types of starships of ours popular in the Earth Federation." Ren Qingying said quickly. Zian has no objection. It had been several days since he had done any more simulations. "I have been waiting for the starship to be sold so that my wealth can start to increase again." So he said without hesitation, "No problem. I'm going to take some promotional photos now. How to shoot it specifically, you can tell me when the virtual metaverse is gone." Zian paused and asked again, "That's right. In terms of price, how is it set?" Zian is more concerned about this. Because the price also represents how much he can earn. That must be paid attention to. Ren Qingying explained, "Venus is our most high-end product. The maximum length, width and height, and the materials used are extremely solid. But because of our reputation, we definitely can't compare with brands like Future Star. So the price will be more friendly to the people." Ren Qingying then called up a virtual chart and continued, "Our Denixing, the lowest ones are white and of ordinary overall quality. I believe this one is also the best seller. The price is set at 1.2999 million yuan. This price can ensure that we have a profit of at least 300,000 yuan. Then there is the green and excellent overall quality, and the price is 1.9999 million yuan. The profit is 500,000 yuan. The overall quality of the blue is rare, and the price is 2.4999 million yuan. The profit is 800,000 yuan. The highest quality is red, with excellent overall quality, and the price is 3.2999 million yuan. This profit is the highest, reaching 1.2 million yuan. Finish this." Ren Qingying pulled out another drawing and introduced, "As for the Big Dipper, it has non-limiting length, width and height. In fact, we will make more money. General white overall quality, price 759,900 yuan. But actually, we were able to make a profit of almost $250,000. Green, excellent overall quality, price 1.0999 million yuan. The profit is 400,000 yuan. The overall quality of the blue is rare, and the price is 1.6999 million yuan. The profit is 600,000 yuan. Red has excellent overall quality, and the price is 2.0999 million yuan. Profit, only 850,000 yuan." Zian didn't speak immediately after listening. To be honest, this price is actually not low. It is indeed more friendly to the people. Although they are all of maximum length, width and height, the quality is not low either. But there is one thing to say. In terms of materials, it is indeed not at the same level as starships such as Future Star and Shining Star. Therefore, it is normal for others to sell products worth tens of millions, but products designed by oneself can only sell for a few million. After going through it in his mind, he nodded and said with a smile, "It seems that you have also studied this price carefully." Zian looked at Ren Qingying opposite and said with a smile, "This price is actually the price in my mind. To be able to achieve this profit margin, to be honest, it's pretty good." Then, let's go shoot a promotional video now. On your side, if you can sell it as soon as possible, sell it as soon as possible. My side is short of money, Zian said calmly. Ren Qingying was startled for a moment, and then immediately said without hesitation, lack of money? I'll transfer the money to you now. How much do you need? I'll ask the finance department to transfer it to you right away. Is 50 billion enough? Not 100 billion. Zian's expression was slightly stunned. Then he smiled and shook his head and said, no, won't they start selling right away? I won't borrow it. Zian hasn't finished speaking yet. Ren Qingying interrupted directly, who said this was borrowed? This was paid for in advance. You can't think that we won't be able to make this money in the end, right? Besides, you are out now, and it is when you need money. I'm just paying you in advance. This is your money, in addition. The stronger you are, the better our products will sell. So, don't refuse, I will transfer it to you now. Shall I just transfer 100 billion to you? Is that enough? Zian was speechless. Excuse me. Who can really refuse this? Since others have said so, Zian would be being hypocritical if he refuses. Without any further hesitation, Tianjian nodded and said, okay, then pass it on to me. 100 billion. When the time comes, just deduct it directly from my profits. I really need money now. I heard Zian say this. Ren Qingying smiled and nodded cheerfully, okay. I will notify the finance department immediately and transfer the money directly to you. Also, if it's not enough, feel free to tell me. I will arrange the transfer directly for you. Ren Qingying wished that Zian needed the money. Only in this way. Talent and Zian are bound more and more tightly, even if Zian joins other group companies in the future. So with this relationship, Zian will become a super strong person, a super boss or something in the future. Who dares to bully their Huawei? What's more, this is equivalent to having Zian as a living sign. By then, countless people will be attracted to buy it. You can make crazy amounts of money, even a mere 100 billion, which is nothing at all. Not to mention 3.0. The two starships Zian designed for them saved trillions. Ren Qingying has even prepared to invest 1 trillion yuan in research and development. In the end, the cost was less than 100 billion. So if I hadn't figured out Zian's character, even if Ren Qingying gave this 100 billion directly to Zian, she would not even blink an eye. And Ren Qingying's speed is very fast. The communication here has just ended. Zian received a transfer of 100 billion in his personal account. And the moment 100 billion is received, the wealth value that was originally dry suddenly skyrocketed. From the remaining 20,000 yuan worth of wealth, the wealth value has skyrocketed to 1.02 million, a total of 10 million worth of wealth. Needless to say, this much wealth is enough for Zian to use for a long time. And that's not the point. The point is, the wealth value exceeded 10 million points. A long-lost system. A new upgrade is coming again. Zian immediately stared. I want to see what huge changes this upgrade has brought. Detected wealth value exceeded 10 million points. New system function is activated. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the multidimensional space starship overlapping ability. Multidimensional space starship overlapping. Two starships can be overlapped in multidimensional space, so that the overlapping starships have double the combat effectiveness. Note 1, depending on the level of the two starships, varying amounts of wealth will be consumed per minute of overlap. For example, for current destroyers, the overlapping consumption is 1000 wealth points per minute. Note 2, this ability is not to summon one of the starships in a broad sense, but to use multidimensional space overlapping technology to briefly overlap and fuse with the dark universe to have double combat power. Therefore, when the overlap ends, the other starship will automatically return to its original area. Note 3, this ability will not cause any abnormality after overlapping starships in multidimensional space. Please feel free to use this ability. After reading the introduction of the system, Zian was silent for a long time. He was stunned. Completely stunned. This ability is so awesome that it far exceeds Zian's imagination. What does this ability mean in plain terms? It means, for example, I am now on the brilliant ship. When needed, you can spend wealth points to have another starship directly overlap your own starship. To put it more simply, it's fusion. 2 starships, 11 merged into one. Then whether it is ammunition reserves, fuel reserves, defense power, attack power, speed, agility, etc., all get the most basic double improvement. It is equivalent to 2 brilliant ships fused together. And there will be no difference. There won't be any difference in appearance, etc., and no one will notice it. And this double improvement is just a double improvement in the basic numerical value. But what about actually? The combat power after overlapping is definitely the effect of 1 plus 1 greater than 2. Even if it is just an effect of 1 plus 1 equal to 2, it is extremely powerful. For example, if I can only fight with 1 battleship now, then, after overlapping, the most basic attribute is that he can compete with 2 battleships. However, it is definitely not as simple as 1 plus 1 equals 2, but greater than 2. That is to say, after overlapping, originally, he could only tie with 1 battleship, but now, you can kill these 2 battleships directly. Or a tie with 3 F*** king battleships. This is crazy. Zian himself was stunned. This ability, Nima, it's really a bit too awesome. Suddenly, Zian felt that his evolution value seemed not enough. Not enough anymore. Because during this period of time, Zian has not over-evolved the brilliant ship. Just because I figured it out during this period of time. Zian believes that the other ship, the Brilliance, does not need to evolve too much. After all, it is only used to save lives at critical moments. For such a long time, the brilliant ship. In fact, it still only remains at the first-order destroyer level. And now, no need to say anything, no need to say anything. The levels of the 2 brilliant ships must be synchronized. But so does grade synchrony. Only in this way can we exert our greatest combat effectiveness. Say nothing more. We must start earning evolution points crazily. The little wife, the brilliant number, must also start evolving immediately. Thinking of this, Zian couldn't help but feel a little distressed. The evolution value itself is not much. The 2 brilliant ships must be synchronized, the required evolution values are really too many. Part 2 of the training this time. I really have to work hard to earn more evolution points. Although the pressure suddenly increased a lot. But what's more, it's excitement. This is a crazy surge in combat effectiveness. It is equivalent to having another trump card. 1. A powerful trump card. He suddenly began to look forward to it again. When the wealth is worth 100 million, what kind of incredible power will the system bring to itself? When is there another billion? What about when the wealth is worth tens of billions? Of course. It's too early to think about this now. Just 1 billion worth of wealth is equivalent to 1 trillion universe coins. At least for now. Zian didn't have much confidence that he could make so much money. The new function of the system was enabled, and Zian was in a good mood. Later, the promotional shooting in the virtual metaverse was even more diligent. Just to achieve better publicity effect. What Zian didn't expect was, it was only the 2nd day. The promotion hasn't really started yet. Ren Qingying got a big deal. It's the Earth Federation, a direct order, just make sure that the parameters of Daystar and Big Dipper are not wrong or exaggerated. The Earth Federation Army will replace all of its standard starships with Venus and Big Dipper in the future. Officers are all morning stars. soldiers, all in the Big Dipper. The first batch of orders alone reached 10,000 ships. And this is just the initial attempt. 10,000 ships. It can only be equipped with 2 federal legions. The normal federal army, the Japanese army, is evenly divided. And the entire Earth Federation, the federal army, has at least 1 billion. This is only shown on the surface. No one knows exactly how many people there are. Of course, even if there are 1 billion people, it is impossible to say that all of them will change their clothes. Zian knew that he was able to obtain this order because of his relationship with 4th senior sister Liu Yu, and his current reputation in the Earth Federation, etc., so the Federation was very willing to help him. In addition, there are self-designed starships, which are indeed not bad, at least not worse in quality and performance than the current starships of the Federation Army. And the price will be more affordable. After all these factors are added up, this is the reason for choosing Morning Star and Big Dipper. But the Federal Army now basically has 1 man per man. It is impossible to say that they will no longer have their current starships and replace them all with the Morning Star and the Big Dipper. That is nonsense. The equipment will only be changed when new personnel are added or their original starship is damaged. Therefore, in the absence of a major battle, it is already quite remarkable to have an order for 50 million ships in the end. As for more, haven't thought about it yet. Perhaps, after a few years, the personnel changed for many, many years. At that time, it would be possible for the Federation Army of the Earth Federation to have all the members of Venus and Big Dipper. Now, 10,000 orders are already very, very good. Among these 10,000 orders, 500 green and high-quality Venus ships, 300 blue excellent quality Morning Stars, 200 red Morning Stars of excellent quality. These are all assigned to officers of different ranks. The Federation Army and starship battles are still very big. Of course, officers who have been damaged in battle will use better Venus. The remaining 9,000 orders, they are all the Big Dipper. Quality, all green and excellent. Don't expect the Earth Federation's federal troops to be of higher quality. Of course, if a certain 740 soldier has enough military merit, he can exchange it for a higher quality Big Dipper. Even if you have enough military merit, there will be no problem even if you change to a Venus. But only the Morning Star and the Big Dipper, because the unity of the starship must be maintained. This makes it easier to coordinate in combat, and it is also easier for military evolutionists to carry out templated evolution, because it is purchased in large quantities by the military. After Ren Qingying consulted Su Zian's opinion, the price of all the green and high-quality Beidou stars was reduced by 99,900 yuan to 1 million yuan. 9,000 ships. That's an order volume of 9 billion yuan. The profit per ship is 300,000 yuan. The net profit is 2.7 billion. Half each. So with this order, Su Zian's personal net profit reached 1.35 billion yuan. It doesn't seem like much. But this is just an attempt. In addition to the Federal Army, there are also a large number of ordinary people. As long as they are willing to buy, they can eventually make a lot of money. This is just the profit from Beidou Star, there is also profit from Daystar. Anyway, the hard work of design over the past 2 years. Finally, it was not in vain. It's absolutely worth it. Starship. You will continue to make money in the future. Especially when one day, I am on the list of geniuses. At that time, his fame will explode wildly. There will be a lot of people buying it. That's the real big money. However, what Su Zian doesn't know is, now, he has far underestimated his fame. Even more underestimated, when he also told me that he was such an awesome starship designer. How explosive was the sensation it caused. If you're enjoying my content, please consider donating a coffee. Or checking out my shirts on TeePublic. Within the solar system, everyone's life is business as usual. But right now, on the street, I don't know who it was, but suddenly he shouted out, Fuck. 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 Look quickly. The pride of our solar system, the destroying evildoer Zian, actually, fuck. Fuck. Fuck this young man. The man exclaimed in shock, immediately attracting everyone's attention. Especially the name Zian in his words. Zian. Definitely the pride of the solar system. Especially for people on Earth. The man's incredible shouts were heard. The passers-by next to him suddenly became anxious. What's wrong? What's wrong with Zian? Just tell me carefully, what happened to him? The reason why they are anxious. It was because they were afraid that something would happen to their pride, Zian. Soon someone saw it. Because right now, the virtual projection above directly displays Zian's news and advertisements. On advertising. It's Huawei Group. But that's not the point. The point is that Huawei Group has launched 2 new models of starships. A. Morning Star, with extreme length, width and height. A. Big Dipper, with ordinary length, width and height. This is still not the point. The point is, these 2 models of starships. All are designed and developed by Zian. Then came the news, which also confirmed this, confirming that these 2 models of starships were all designed and developed by Zian. As big as the keel and hull. As small as the main gun, secondary gun, anti-aircraft gun, and various parts above. All of them are designed and developed by Zian alone. And the news? Even more so. Shocked. The brilliant evildoer Zian, just how evil has he become? Such a title expresses the horror of Zian's incredible talent. See here. Everyone opened their mouths and stared blankly. I don't know how long it took. Misty grass, foggy grass, foggy grass. Zian Nyobi. Brilliant evildoer Nyobi. Buy. Must buy. That's a must. You must buy the starship designed by the brilliant evildoer Zian. It just so happens that I awakened to bioenergy not long ago, and I was worried about what to buy. Now I won't say anything, just buy it. It's awesome. This attribute, this quality, and most importantly, the price is so affordable. It's worthy of Yao Zichen. Dad, I want to buy Daystar. Haha, no problem. I'll buy you a Morning Star, and I'll buy you a blue rare quality one too. Crazy. Exploded. Everyone is crazy about it. This moment. Countless people turned on their optical watches and saw a subsidiary of Huawei Group. The official website of Huawei Starship Manufacturing Group, where orders can be placed directly. However, at this site, countless people were shocked again. Shown from the data. These 2 starships have only been on sale for an hour. But Dina's sales exceeded 170,000 ships. The most outrageous thing is the cheaper Beidou Star, sales volume dash 930,000 ships. Added up. In 1 hour, more than 1.1 million units were sold. How terrifying. This is Zian's appeal in the Earth Federation now. And this is only an hour. Now, it's almost time for official promotion. More people are aware of the existence of this matter. And more people opened the website at the same time and placed orders. For nothing else. Just to support the super genius in their minds. Zian. At the same time, inside the Chinese Academy of Sciences. It was also boiling. After everyone was stunned for a long time. All of them exploded. Unfortunately, Shenzhou Academy has a starship, so it is impossible to buy it by itself and support ANS. But this is nothing. If you want to support them, Dean Su and Brother Su, there are many ways. Those special recruits from those special recruitment camps. They contacted their families one after another. Can enter the special recruitment camp. Almost all of them grew up with very good family conditions, so they were able to stay one step ahead. Some people's families belong to large groups or companies. Some people have big families and big financial groups at home. In this case, what to do? Simple. Let the family buy it. Ordinary students may have few families who can purchase in large quantities. But it does not matter. Spend hundreds of thousands or millions. It's okay to buy one for your younger brother, sister, etc., right? Of course there is no problem. Buy. Sales volume, step by step. Zian's name. Even if the person has not appeared in China Academy for several years. But this name, today, it still caused a sensation in the entire Chinese Academy of Sciences. At this time, C72743 Battlefield. Battlefield C72743 is the latest sea-level battlefield of Shenzhou Academy. The inner courtyard of Shenzhou University. It was also built here. At this time, inside a support spacecraft on a battlefield, Haitang, who had just finished a war, was drinking tea. At this time, the temporary team member next to her suddenly screamed. Hiss. Haitang, look. This Zian seems to be from your Earth Federation, right? He seems to be from your China University? This temporary female team member, who had a pretty face but was just a green leaf in front of Haitang, asked in a surprised tone. Haitang was startled, his expression suddenly became serious, and he immediately asked, "What's wrong? What happened to him?" A monstrous murderous aura burst out from Haitang's body in an instant. She's just like everyone else. I thought something had happened to Zian. How do others know about Zian? This female team member, as well as several other team members, looked at Haitang with strange expressions. The female team member said with a strange expression, "He's fine, don't worry. He is now known as a top genius. This is even officially confirmed by the Universal Human Federation. Just now. Officially confirmed by the Universal Human Federation. Earth Federation, Zian, genius of evolution, genius of Star Wars, genius of design. In addition, there is the practice of cultivating top-level monsters and fighting against top-level monsters. Then it was officially confirmed as top talent in terms of overall talent. Enjoy all the benefits of being a top genius." After that, I saw Zian, who designed 2 starships. It seems to be selling very hotly. The orders have already arrived half a year later. The man finished speaking in one breath. Haitang was stunned for a moment. He was stunned for a long time. Then he suddenly smiled. The sudden beauty astounded everything around her, even the female team member was stunned. Haitang smiled slightly, her eyes filled with endless tenderness, and whispered, "Phone. Are they all top geniuses? It seems that he will be able to fulfill his promise soon. Also, I didn't expect it to be hidden so deeply. He's still a genius in design? Hee. Haitang muttered to herself. As he spoke, he couldn't help but chuckle a few times. The sound is auspicious. Full of strange meaning. The female team member next to her, as well as her other team members, all looked on in horror. Looking at Haitang, who was completely different from usual at this moment, my mind was a little confused. It seems like there is something between the two of them? Haitang didn't explain much. Just look out the window gently. He looked gently in a certain direction again. Where is Zian and what is he doing now? She actually knew everything. Because Zian would never hide anything from her in this regard. So, she was looking forward to it now. Half year later. The appearance of Zian. Look forward to. 6 months later, Zian invited her to join his fleet. 1 month's time passed by in a hurry. Within this month, a lot of things happened. What makes Zian happy the most? Such is the popularity of starship sales. Especially after his identity as the top genius was officially confirmed by the Universal Human Federation. After designing the starship by myself, it has been tested by countless people for its performance. it got hot again. I thought it would take a long time to offset the 100 billion. As a result, it was only 28 days. Then he made money back. In these 28 days, I made a King 100 million. Moreover, it is still being recorded in a steady stream. The most important thing is that his identity as a top genius is exposed. As a result, many people outside the Earth Federation also began to purchase 2 starships. Anyway, now a lot of money is coming into my account every day. Not only Zian is happy. It was a big surprise for Ren Qingying and Huawei. Ren Qingying became even more determined. Always follow Zian closely and hug this thick thigh. #B. The future can be expected. At this moment. After a month of sailing. Everyone in the training camp. Everyone also arrived at the target location. B-level battlefield. Nickname. Meat Grinder of Death. Words. B-283 battlefield in a super large galaxy called Grunt. Yes. This huge galaxy is a B-283 battlefield. The Grunt superlarge galaxy is the size of 7 Milky Way galaxies. It was divided by 3 ethnic groups, forming a triangle area. Front, upper left, upper right. Then in addition to these 3 directions. The rest of the area is a space turbulence zone, once entered. It ranges from being eternally lost in it, to being directly torn apart by the turbulent flow of space. Allegedly. Space turbulence is actually the dark universe. However, this statement has not been verified so far. And the battlefield. To put it bluntly, it is actually a channel in the turbulent flow of space. Only through this passage can one enter the scope of the 3 major ethnic groups. This huge Garud galaxy is on the passage. It's just that the size of this channel is very huge. The 3 peak overlord groups fight here all year round. Countless deaths. A well-deserved meat grinder of death. 100 light-years outside the Guru supergalaxy. All the personnel from the training camp appeared here. Within 100 light-years from the Gulu superlarge galaxy, it is a controlled area. It's here. Has an anti-space jump device. Basically, there are no starships that break the space jump limit here. Only inspection and audit can be carried out. Only after passing the inspection and review can you enter the battlefield. This is to prevent the enemy from invading the rear, and to coordinate the inside and outside. Even if there is no way to cause substantial damage, even if some information about military operations is passed on, the damage to the human race will be inestimable. And this kind of inspection and review is very strict. Basically, you will know exactly who you interact with and what you talk about. Of course, even if your chat content is detected, your privacy will not be revealed. Because there will be no human intervention in the entire process will be reviewed by the most powerful intelligent optical brain of the Universal Human Federation. Therefore, there is no risk of information leakage. No matter who it is, they have no right to view a person's message records. Unless the smart optical brain detects a problem with you, all your privacy, secrets, etc. will be fully reviewed by professional personnel. So, this is why there are very few human traders who have strong combat capabilities. Because they dare not enter the battlefield to fight. Most of their evolutionary values come from hunting interstellar pirates or obtaining them through illegal means. For example, in a certain no man's sky, randomly killing people and then escaping. Just do the same thing as interstellar pirates. If you have never participated in a real battlefield, your combat effectiveness will definitely not be that strong. Of course, there are exceptions. For example, there are many human traders who hide very deeply. They usually don't show any abnormality at all. Such traitors to the human race. In fact, there is no way to avoid it. But it's also normal. If human traitors were so easy to find, it will not cause headaches to the Universal Human Federation. Actually, aren't the Inhumans and the insects racking their brains to guard against and avoid the traitors who would surrender to the human race? So, in fact, these are all equivalent. There is a traitor in the human race of the universe. The Inhumans and insects also have traitors who regard the humans of the universe as gods. Because it is the first inspection and review. So it takes longer. It took half a day before everyone was allowed to pass by the garrison. After passing the outer area where the Federal Army was stationed. It is equivalent to entering the B-283 battlefield. The main battlefield is naturally not here. But here, it is not absolutely safe. Everyone has become cautious. It's here. Once danger occurs, the mortality rate is really outrageous. But fortunately, such bad luck did not happen. Soon, everyone truly entered the scope of the Herat supergalaxy. The Herat supergalaxy is indeed extremely spectacular. Supergiants are everywhere, but there are also starship wreckage everywhere. You can even see the wreckage of a starship tens of thousands of meters tall. You can imagine how intense the battle here was. In addition, there are starships flying everywhere. It's really everywhere. In such a large galaxy, one can always see starships and fleets passing by from time to time. Some are intact, some are in tatters. Even some weapons have deformed. It can make the weapon deform either because it was hit, or it was caused by too many shells being fired and the cooling system couldn't keep up. It is unimaginable that the cooling systems of this era cannot lower the temperature of the weapon barrel. You can imagine how many shots were fired to cause this. According to some trail data, it is said that the number of permanent federal troops stationed on battlefield B-283 is 1.3 trillion. Yes. 13,000/Z. Voyage, 1.3 trillion federal army soldiers. But in fact, there are very, very, very few people. For the Herat superlarge galaxy, this number of people is not too many. And this is just anecdotal data. I'm afraid only the upper echelons of the Universal Human Federation know how many federal troops are actually stationed there. And on the battlefield, the Federal Army is always the smallest in number. The largest number of people are the unofficial biological captains. The number of people is hundreds or thousands of times that of the Federal Army. However, even with such a large population, for the entire Herat supergalaxy, there are not many of them. When the three peak overlord groups are added together, the population is actually slightly similar. After all, even if these people were placed in the Milky Way, they are all like a drop in the ocean. Not to mention a battlefield 7 times larger than the Milky Way. In Herat, the battlefield is actually divided into many areas. For example, now, they are going to the winning area of the B-283 battlefield. The combat range of the ever-victorious zone is tens of millions of surrounding star systems. In other words, these tens of millions of star systems are all combat areas in the victorious zone. After that, when everyone fights, most of the time they will only move around in this area. After a period of sailing, the group of people finally arrived at the 7 battle star system in the victory zone, and just arrived here. Then he saw, in a very distant area ahead, the explosion of fire soaring into the sky, shining extremely brightly. It was a battle scene. And not just one place. Fighting is taking place in hundreds of areas. This is a common scene on the battlefield. In the star system, everyone should rest, eat, drink, and have fun. He was not affected by those battles at all. As long as it's not a total defeat, as long as the enemy doesn't attack, no one will pay much attention to it. 7 battles in the star system, on one of the super large planets. This planet is the most prosperous place in the 7 war star system. In addition, here, starships can sail and park at will, and do not need to be parked at the starport. In wartime, any accident can happen. Naturally, the sooner you react, the better. Therefore, a group of people directly arrived at a hotel booked on this planet and checked in. Wow, is this a battlefield? It's completely different from what I imagined. Qin Fuyue looked around curiously and said. Miao Xiaomi rarely agreed with Qin Fuyue's words, nodded and said, I am also surprised. I thought the battlefield would be very bloody and desolate. I didn't expect that these planets would be so prosperous. Except for some differences, it seems to be no different from the normal rare planets. Zian smiled. He was also looking around curiously. Although he has conducted countless Star Wars simulations. But there is one thing to say. It was his first time to visit the planet on the battlefield. However, he also knew that such a situation was normal on the battlefield in the interstellar era. War is never a short-lived thing. Protracted war, even endless battle, is the theme song of war in the interstellar era. Even this kind of battlefield is mainly to prevent the enemy from breaking through the defense line and entering the rear, nothing more. Fighting has been going on for countless years, and the soldiers naturally have normal life needs. Therefore, living conditions and prosperity. In fact, they are no different from those planets behind. Perhaps the only difference is that from time to time you will see explosions ahead. From time to time you will see a damaged starship flying by. Then there are the various tasks everywhere on the planet. This is the biggest feature of the battlefield. On the battlefield, tasks are really everywhere. Major groups, companies, families, and individuals who have long-term acquisitions or urgently need natural materials or parts will be released here. Why are you shopping here? The reason is simple. Everyone comes to the battlefield because, on the battlefield, you can not only get a lot of evolution points. You can also capture a large number of enemy starships and spare parts, as well as break into the enemy's rear and obtain a large number of natural materials and treasures. On the battlefield, everything is possible. Not only can you become stronger, but you can also become rich. For example, some group companies will acquire certain parts and components for a long time. Then when you obtain this kind of thing, you can sell it directly to the other party, in exchange for a large amount of wealth or various resources. Another example. The Interstellar Hunter Guild is the most active on the battlefield. Here, there are a lot of tasks. Even walking on the street, there will be people shouting words such as forming a team on the side of the street. Anyway, it was extremely lively, and it was a scene that was impossible to see on the planet behind. After the training camp arranged everyone's accommodation, it didn't take care of it anymore. The next day is time for everyone to have free activities and rest. Starting tomorrow. That's when the training officially started. Until now, everyone still doesn't know what the specific content of the training is. But he didn't care. Anyway, we'll know after tomorrow starts. Zian and the other girls did not go out either. Still practicing in their respective rooms, cherish every minute and every second. Originally, everyone should have evolved at this time. Unfortunately, the evolution value is too little. Those evolution points given by the training camp. Just enough for everyone to evolve the excellent quality of red. Zian also has almost enough pink, perfect quality. I can only stop evolving for the time being, and wait until I get a lot of evolution points. The next day, early in the morning, the second part of training has officially begun. The students all spontaneously form teams. The maximum number of team members is no more than 10. As for who to team up with and how to team up, that is the students' own business, and the teachers and instructors will not care about it. There is only one Zian. It's a one-person team. And for subsequent actions, Kaitai will personally lead Zian there. Of course, because of the special relationship between the girls and Zian, and Zian's own request. Therefore, in the follow-up, the girls will also set off with Zian, basically forming a team with Zian. The reason why they need to be distinguished is just the subsequent plan value distribution issue taken into account by the training camp. Are you all ready? Kaitai looked at Zian and the other girls and asked. Kaitai personally took Zian with him. Since they are the first group of women to receive 4-star treatment, the female deputy battalion commander will personally lead the team. As for the others, in fact, they are already starting to set off one after another. Ready? Zian said. All the girls nodded in unison. No more nonsense from Kai-Tai. With a wave of his hand, everyone boarded the ship. The two teams of them also started to set off. Can be seen clearly. Ahead, other students in the training camp have already set off, moving forward in one direction. Originally, Zian thought he would directly enter a battlefield. But he found. It seems that I guessed wrong. Not long after setting off, they encountered a group of people fighting on the battlefield. The two sides on the battlefield are the Chinese race and the human race. But the training camp just passed by without participating at all. After the insectoids discovered them, they didn't step forward to stop them at all. He was fighting there by himself. It seems that they don't want to provoke the training camp, because Kai-Tai and the others are here and they don't dare to provoke them easily. Even in the opponent's fighting team, there is a vertical starship. Move on. After a while, another group of people fought. However, this time, the personnel on both sides turned out to be fighting between humans and aliens. The fight was so exciting. Cannonballs bombarded the opponent for free, and the stumps and broken arms of the starship were flying everywhere. See training camp coming. Both sides immediately stopped fighting and watched with vigilance, but after seeing that the group of humans in the training camp had no intention of getting close, they began to continue fighting, with getting deeper and deeper. The intensity of the battle and the level of the battle are rising. Wait until you are very close to the three-way border area. The war has evolved from a small-scale local war to a large-scale battlefield. Moreover, people from three parties joined together to start the fight. The B-level battlefield is called the meat grinder of death. That's because this kind of large-scale war will not stop for even a second. This kind of war in the central area has been going on. If anyone dies, or if the starship battle damage is too great, exit immediately. Then later on, more people will join in a steady stream. Can be seen clearly. In this battle area of the main battlefield, starships were constantly being blown up. The fighting was extremely crazy. However, there are always new starships rushing in from behind. Behind the three parties, people are constantly leaving and people are joining. In fact, the area around the central area has long been filled with the broken limbs of countless starships, and its size is even equivalent to a huge star. It's hard to imagine how many starships were destroyed before slowly forming such a large area of starship ruins. After all, from time to time, someone will come to clean up these ruins. Here, it's as simple as homely meals. The pace of training camp, it also gradually slowed down. Everyone's expressions changed wildly. Because they didn't expect that the training camp would not only bring them to the B-level battlefield, but also bring them to the main battlefield to fight. The main battlefield of the B-level battlefield and the local battlefield are not the same thing at all. Ask for flowers, 0. The highest point is the main battlefield, including Zian. His expression instantly became serious. Precisely because he has participated in countless Star Wars simulations. Only then did we know how high the death rate was on the main battlefield. On the main battlefield, battleships were frequently blown up. Deep space ships will have a higher survival rate. Only star destroyers and above can achieve a certain level of registration opportunities on the battlefield, but a large number of star destroyers are destroyed every year. For example, in the huge area of the main battlefield, with just a casual glance, I discovered the scene of at least 100 star destroyers fighting. There are even scenes of more than 30 immortal ships fighting, and several void ships fighting madly. He never expected that the training in the training camp would be so crazy. To know this kind of training, I'm afraid if you don't pay attention, your entire army will be wiped out. Even if there are teachers and instructors guarding them. But they themselves may be killed. Arrive. All students obey orders. All groups follow the guidance of their respective teachers and instructors. You must not act rashly. Otherwise, any consequences will be borne by you. Kai-Tai's voice sounded in the communicators of everyone in the training camp. Everyone was shocked, but no one spoke. Following Kaitai's words, the team of training camp students also began to take action one by one. Just like locusts, they began to break into the battlefield under the command of teachers and instructors, no matter how frightened and fearful you are in your heart. But it's all already here. There was no room for them to retreat. What surprised Zian was, these student teams have all broken into the battlefield, but on his side. But still did not receive the news that Kaitai asked him to take action. Including the girls, they were still waiting where they were. This made Zian quite confused. You know, there are already students who have suffered battle damage. But Zian didn't ask either. He is waiting. And Kaitai? It seems to be waiting for something. This training plan is completely focused on how to make yourself fly, from the beginning till now. There seems to be a mysterious veil. I don't know at all, training camp. What exactly are you planning? That's all. After waiting for an hour. Sudden. A group of insectoids rushed straight towards the training camp students. He didn't pay any attention to the humans and aliens around him. It was as if they were coming here for the training camp. And the humans and aliens around them. There seems to be a tacit understanding. It's like not seeing it, let them pass. And Kaitai's voice. At this time it finally rang. Get ready. Them, coming. Kaitai said in a deep voice. Zian didn't know who the they Kaitai was talking about. But fortunately, Kaitai explained it in the next second. Kaitai first took a deep breath and shouted in a deep voice, Zian. Zian immediately responded, Master, I am here. Kaitai said in a deep voice, Wait. Use all your strength and kill me hard and crazily. Opposite is a place similar to our training camp from the insect tribe. It's called Tian Mantang Devil Camp. This mantis demon camp is very, very powerful. It is the training camp that ranks second among the entire insect race all year round. Theoretically, it's more powerful than our Taiku Galaxy training camp. In previous years, we have been fighting against the two training camps that are number 1 and number 2 in the human race in our universe. But just last term, in Tian Mantang Devil Camp, a super genius from the insect race suddenly appeared. He alone defeated the more than 20 most powerful geniuses in the training camp that rank second among humans in our universe. Killed them all, including one top genius, the rest are all ordinary geniuses. In that session, our human race's 1 geniuses lost their lives. And because that super genius killed too many of his own super geniuses, the other geniuses also suffered huge losses. This time, although the super genius is no longer here. However, according to our information, the super genius's younger brother has participated in this training camp. And the super genius younger brother is said to be just as talented and powerful as him. So, here we are now. Originally, with the strength of our training camp in previous years, we wouldn't have come here. But I have you this year. So here we are. Although the person the other party killed was not from our training camp, we are both from the human race, and you are both super geniuses from the human race. I brought you here, just to take revenge, to avenge them, to avenge those fallen super geniuses. Kill me hard. I believe in you, don't let me down. You can ignore the others, but you must kill that super genius brother. The other person is just like his brother, and just like you. Both belong to the peerless genius level. But his brother's talent will be stronger, and he is already dead. And what you have to do is kill him for me, do not disappoint me. After Kaitai finished speaking, he said no more. Zian was silent for a long time. Unparalleled genius. In fact, the talents of peerless geniuses can be either strong or weak. Otherwise, they are all the unparalleled geniuses on the genius list. Why are some people great devils and others not? Zian finally understood why the training plan for this training camp was set here. The reason is definitely not just for training and revenge for those fallen super geniuses. We can also take this opportunity to raise the reputation and ranking of Taiku Galaxy Training Camp to a higher level. The Taiku Galaxy Training Camp is always in the top 5, sometimes reaching 3rd place. This time, if it is a big victory, it can definitely rise to the top 2, or even the 1st place. Because, in this session, there is a peerless genius like myself. There is another main reason. Master Kaitai. You are building momentum for yourself. Since the peerless geniuses shine too brightly, they can never hide it. It would be better to directly take the initiative to build momentum for yourself. After building momentum, you can gain greater fame. And greater fame also means that the pressure will be greater, and naturally, there will be more motivation to grow. The substantial benefit is that as he becomes more famous, he will gain the attention and cultivation of the Universal Human Federation. You don't really think that the peerless geniuses who are on the genius list are just on the list. Have some fame? The heroes of the generation are so important and holy, and they will greatly boost their own morale. The Universal Human Federation will definitely do its best to cultivate itself. There is no doubt about this. The higher the ranking on the Tianjiao list, the greater the benefits. I only need to kill the super genius group opposite, who is also a peerless genius. You don't even have to wait for training to end. He will definitely be able to be on the list of geniuses, and his ranking will not be at the bottom. Because I actually killed a peerless genius, the fact is just as Zian guessed. At this time, Kaitai smiled and said, in addition, after you kill the other party, there will be a lot of benefits. The identity of the other party's peerless genius has been exposed long before this. Currently, the opponent is ranked 432 on the list of geniuses. As long as you kill him, you can at least enter the top 300. But at the same time you're going to be hated by someone, and that's his brother. His brother is now in the top 200. So, come on. I only have one request, just do your best to kill the other party. Others in the training camp will fully cooperate with you. I heard Kaitai say this. Zian naturally didn't make any sense and nodded without hesitation. Don't worry, Master, I will die if he doesn't die. What Zian said was absolutely decisive. Kaitai nodded with satisfaction and said immediately, wait a minute, when you and him fight alone. These little girls of yours, female team members, please don't move. You guys will be responsible for intercepting the attacks of other enemies on behalf of your captain. Is that okay? Kaitai's last words were addressed to a girl in her 70s. Kaitai did not hide the conversation between the two from Huchichi and the girls, so they knew about Zian's important mission. At this time, I fully support Zian, nodding without hesitation, no problem. Qin Fuyue was the first to nod and shout. The other women also responded one after another. They knew that the pressure this time would be great. But they are not afraid. They are no worse than anyone else now. Under Zian's training, if they can't even defeat ordinary geniuses, then they don't even look down on themselves. Ordinary geniuses, some geniuses cultivate quickly. Some geniuses are quick warriors. Some geniuses are maintenance, design, and evolution. Not all geniuses are geniuses in Star Wars. It is rare to find a talent as comprehensive as Zian. This is also the reason why a strong man like Kaitai will try his best to take Zian as his disciple. Hashtag. The girls may still not be the chosen ones now. But their Star Wars, their exclusive customized starships, and their cooperation. All put together, he is definitely no worse than any ordinary genius. This is true even for Star Wars heroes. Now that the arrangements are complete, Zian and the girls also officially set off. Look ahead again. Both sides. The fight has already begun. After the geniuses on the opposite side arrived, the powerful insectoids on the opposite side actually retreated one after another. Not only the strong men from the opposite insect race, but also the strong men from the inhuman race also gave up their positions very consciously. Not to mention our own personnel. This scene made Zian very surprised, and he seemed to understand Zian's surprise. Kaitai smiled and explained, "It's normal. Genius, no matter which ethnic group you belong to, is the most important thing. But geniuses need to be cultivated. And the best place to cultivate geniuses is the battlefield. But on the battlefield, the death rate is too high." Later, I don't know when, an unspoken rule appeared. That's, as long as the school or training camp organizes a group of geniuses. When there are no geniuses on the opposite side who can participate in the battle in the same way, just fight normally. However, once geniuses from two different camps appear on the battlefield at the same time, no matter whether they are soldiers or ordinary 3.6 biological captains, it doesn't matter which camp they are from. They will all give up their positions and let the geniuses fight on their own. Because once they join in and cause the other side's geniuses to lose too much, then when our own geniuses appear, the other side can also kill all their own geniuses without following the rules. Although there are no explicit rules, this is already an unspoken rule among the three dominant ethnic groups. If you encounter this kind of situation in the future, you don't have to be afraid that the super strong ones from the insects and inhumans will take action against you. They don't dare. Because once it is done, in the future, the super strong people of our human race will specifically catch their super geniuses and kill them. Unless their geniuses never step into the battlefield again to hone their skills. So, you only need to worry about the other party's genius. Kaitai's explanation. It seems that a new door has been opened for Zian. And it seems that it is just to confirm Kaitai's words. Not long after his voice fell. The moment Zian and the others were about to enter the main battlefield. In the public communication channel. Suddenly there was a lot of noise. "Geniuses, come on. Haha, kill the insectoid geniuses from the devil's camp across the street and avenge our fallen geniuses. Kill them to death and show off the power of our human race." I was there that time, alas, watching our geniuses being killed one by the other side. My heart, this time, you have to be careful too. Yes, the insect race is not weak. We, the geniuses of the human race, come on. Voices of encouragement and concern, in such a tense situation on the battlefield, still took the time to say such a sentence. Zian suddenly felt an indescribable warmth in his heart. There is also a strong sense of belonging, intimacy, and a sense of responsibility to the same human race. There is even a feeling of blood boiling. Zian did not respond. Because at this time, no matter how much you respond, it is useless. Wait, just respond directly with actual actions. It was exactly as Kaitai said. After entering the main battlefield, not just our own personnel, including the warring insects and inhumans, when they saw Zian's horn passing by them, he didn't even look at it and continued to beat himself. They were not afraid that Zian would do anything to them. Although this unspoken rule exists, they will not take action against enemy geniuses. But once the enemy genius takes the initiative to attack them, then they can kill without restraint. No one can say anything about it. Zian piloted the brilliance and Shai ran past by the fighting inhumans and insects. This feeling, to be honest, it's amazing. Soon. Then they approached the area where the training camp students were. And at this time, the students in the training camp have also fought against the geniuses from Tianmong Devil Camp. From the private channel of the training camp, you can still hear the roars of the students. And this time, obviously, they also know this unspoken rule and rules. They now know more about their target and enemy for this training. Although very nervous. But there is no doubt about it. What's more, it's excitement and excitement. Being able to fight with the geniuses of the inhumans and bugs and kill the geniuses of the other side, this sense of accomplishment is very, very satisfying. The first contact between the two parties. It was the most violent fighting. Just a meeting. There were a large number of casualties on both sides. Although the insectoids are not very powerful individually. But that's talking about ordinary buggers. The royal family, and imperial family in the insect race are no worse than any human race or inhuman race. Only the insect nobles and peaceful peoples have much different individual combat capabilities, so they win with numbers. No doubt, the insect clan that can enter Tian Montang's devil camp all start from the royal family. Of course, there are also some noble insectoids with extremely high talents. But the vast majority are from the royal family. For example, Zian's main goal at this time. That's super genius. It is the insect race, a super heavenly group of the royal family. From what the master said on the way here, he seems to be one of the 10 royal families, a genius from the September beetle race. The September beetle human race has a natural carapace. There are 9 crescent moon marks on the carapace, hence the name. The September beetle human race is quite powerful in combat, mainly known for its defense and speed. Its attack power will be slightly lower, including their starship characteristics and fighting styles as well. Known for its super defense, it is also known for its extremely agile speed. Even if the attack power is slightly worse, it is difficult to hit the enemy, and it is difficult to achieve effective damage if you hit them. Even though their attack power is slightly inferior, they can still fight for a long time. Their advantages are huge. This is Zian's understanding of the September beetle human race. Zian, a smile appeared on his face. Quite a coincidence. He once fought with the September beetle human race. They fought for a whole year. Not to mention that he has a complete understanding of the September beetle human race's attack methods. But at least, Zian is very familiar with their attack methods and characteristics. Also know where their weaknesses are. Plus the new features that appeared in the system last time. No. Even without using the overlapping ability of multidimensional starships, Zian is sure to kill them. Even if the opponent is a cruiser, even if you can't kill it. It doesn't matter. Use that ability directly. Even if there is another one. Zian is also 90% sure to kill the opponent. Although Zian's goal is clear. But it is not that simple to find the super genius of the September beetle human race on the chaotic battlefield. The total number of people on both sides almost reached 200,000. With such a large number of people, Zian was too lazy to look for each other. So, Zian joined the battlefield. Then he went straight towards the nearest group of insectoid geniuses who were fighting with his own side and killed them. Just yesterday, the training camp has already issued clear instructions. In training, no matter what Zian does, he must fully cooperate with Zian. Even if Zian takes the initiative to grab monsters, he must fully cooperate. Afterwards, the training camp will provide corresponding compensation. Of course, Zian is not that bad. For example, he rushed forward now because the opponent's 10-man team was stronger than his own. Our 10-man team was obviously exhausted. Brother Su is here? Haha, kill them. Brother Su, we can feel relieved now that you are here. Should we say it or not, these damn insectoids are really strong. Brother Su, kill them. We will intercept them for you. These students. Seeing Zian rushing over to help, everyone immediately shouted. Zian smiled slightly and said, "Okay, then help me intercept it. I'll take out those cruisers, and you can do the rest yourself." Listen to Zian say this. This group of students also smiled and said, "Haha, Brother Su is righteous. It's okay, even if Brother Su kills them all. Thank you, Brother Su." They all said it very enthusiastically. Zian smiled and said no more. Keeping an eye on one of the opponent's cruisers, he directly started his attack. After actually entering the battlefield, only then did Zian discover. It turns out that all my strength has not been fully displayed before this, because he discovered the battlefield. In fact, it is your final destination. Only on the real battlefield can his blood really boil. Only when your own strength can be exerted 200%. And after half a year of training, Zian also wants to know. After conducting such a real battlefield, own strength. In the end, how strong is it? But one thing he was sure of. Even if the Star Wars simulation is very, very realistic. However, there is a kind of wantonness in my heart after all. Because no matter how realistic it is, Liuan knows that he can't die, but in this real battlefield, it's completely different. If you die, you really die. Only in this real battlefield can you truly see your strongest strength. And this is the attack. Not to mention the geniuses around me. Even Zian himself. They were all shocked by their own strength. The target of his current attack. He is a junior cruiser captain of the Zerg tribe. Zian doesn't care about which insect race it belongs to, nor does he care about it. But it is undeniable that the opponent is very strong. It's definitely not a genius, but the top monster never ran away. Moreover, the opponent's starship is absolutely 100% red in excellent quality, or even entirely pink in perfect quality. B. Just one shot. Really just one shot. For 37, Zian directly blasted a hole in the opponent's starship energy shield. The opponent's starship trembled with fright and immediately started various evasions. While evading, he launched the most violent counterattack towards Zian. The other starships on the other side obviously also discovered the strong man, Zian. Suddenly, at least half of the starships launched an attack on Zian. All of a sudden, a large number of artillery shells and missiles attacked Zian at extremely tricky angles. This is the difference between geniuses and ordinary people. Their attacks are more tricky and difficult to defend. Their evasion and interception abilities are stronger. ##::#equals. But it's a pity. They encountered. It's Zian who defies heaven. Facing so many tricky shells. Zian was calm. All the attention was devoted to the battlefield. Under the control of quantity production, the brilliant number easily dodges most attacks with unparalleled agility. The rest will be intercepted with anti-aircraft guns. While dodging, one shell after another, at an extremely precise angle, struck the cruiser again. It completely punched a huge hole in the opponent's energy shield. It's the pulse cannon, and then the high explosive shells of the secondary battery. The sky-high flames swept across the cockpit of the cruiser. It sounds slow, but in fact, everything happens in an instant. Just for a moment. Zian then killed one of the opponent's cruisers. Such a ferocious look. The other party was frightened and there were only 9 people left. He also looked at 10 of his own people stupidly. Also sluggish. There are also strong enemies from the high-altitude insect race. And a few people from Kaitai. Even if it is Kaitai. Everyone was stunned at this moment. He thought he already knew Zian very well. But now it seems. It seems that he still underestimates his disciple. Zian is powerful. Leave him in a daze. Thank you for watching Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.